Balanced literacy is a combination between literacy activities and writing instruction. This includes read-alouds, shared reading, word studies, and guided reading, among other components. Balanced literacy helps to meet students' needs because it makes time for guided reading or strategy groups as well as time for individual conferences. The idea behind Reader's Workshop is having a mini lesson, then giving students time to work on those new concepts introduced. This directly correlates to balanced literacy because the mini lessons incorporate read-alouds and shared reading to teach strategies or language concepts. Then during the independent work time, there's time for the independent reading and group work. Independent reading is a cornerstone of the Daily 5 program and of any reading workshop. In the Daily 5, it says, independent reading should be the first skill taught. Also quoting Daily 5, they say it is important because it creates a self-winding learner and students are more actively engaged in reading when they have built stamina up. Ultimately, the goal of any reading program is to get students reading effectively, and reading themselves makes that happen. Word study is used to experiment with spelling patterns, memorize high-frequency words, and develop a curiosity and interest for words. This is important because by working with words, word patterns, prefixes, and suffixes, students learn to enjoy words and increase their writing skills. The Daily 5 recommends 10 minutes of word work and then moving to another choice to increase engagement. Implementation should include teaching of rules, but also the location of supplies and clean up expectations for each activity. A read aloud includes a teacher reading a book aloud with a strategy embedded during the reading to teach students. Read alouds would be a part of the 10 to 15-minute mini lessons between literacy centers. Read alouds are important because they can be used to model new strategies for students to implement in their reading. Can also be used to show fluency and accuracy in reading. Shared reading is a reading where the teacher and students read a text together. This would be used during mini lessons and help students focus on fluency and accuracy as well as the teacher can focus on strategy instruction. This is important because the teacher can scaffold learning and show students fluent and accurate reading in a whole group setting. A strategy group is a group of students who need the same work on a strategy like comprehension or fluency. This group is independent from text level. The teacher would use strategy groups during the Independent Literacy Center block. This is an important piece because teachers can teach strategies to students no matter what level they are at, and they can meet the students' needs. Guided reading is an instructional time where the teacher is working with students in groups based on their similar reading level. This is implemented usually during the time where independent reading would be or during a literacy center time where they could rotate through guided reading as another option. It's important to do guided reading because you can meet students where they are, and they can do this in a group setting, and you can create lesson plans that work on the specific skills that this set of student needs without having to meet with each student individually as well. Independent reading conferences where the teacher can go in and talk to each student about what they're reading and implement any strategies that student might need individually. This is also the time where they can model those strategies and see them use them. This is implemented usually during the literacy center time or a time where you would do guided reading and you maybe rotate between guided reading and independent reading conferences. And it's important because it's the best way to meet students at what they need because you're able to talk to each of them about strategies that they should use. Literacy assessment includes both formative and summative assessments, which provide teachers with information about how students are doing with meeting the standards and benchmarks. These assessments should be used daily in the form of worksheets or checklists, as well as a unit test or standardized test at the end of a unit. This is important because it gives teachers insight into how their students are doing on new material, and that they are retaining it along the way. This also provides teachers a spot to go back and reteach if necessary. Balanced literacy is the ultimate way to differentiate reading instruction because it allows time for whole group class lessons that could be strategies that a majority of the group needs to work on, but it also allows time for independent reading time and conferences, as well as time for guided reading or strategy groups where you can pull students and meet them at each of their reading needs, which really increases their reading engagement and understanding.